So if you're watching this, there is a good chance that the first thought that you had looking at this face was, oh my god, holy shit, he looks like crap. Or holy crap, he looks like shit. Those are interchangeable words. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why I look like I didn't get any sleep last night. It's because I didn't get any sleep last night. I have been dealing with some dental issues this last month. And this always seems to happen this way. I go a long time without having any teeth problems, and then suddenly I go to the dentist and it's just like 50 fillings all at once. It's weird. I'll have a period where everything's fine, and then I'll have a period where I'm just in and out of the dentist's office multiple times a week over various different things, and that's what I'm going through right now. So at the beginning of the month, I should go back a little bit further. The last time I went to the dentist, which was maybe last fall, she found a couple of spots that she was like, yeah, we probably ought to go ahead and fill those. And I don't have a problem getting fillings done, but at that particular moment in time, I was kind of phasing out my employment at VidPal, so there wasn't a lot of money coming in. I was kind of just starting to live off the YouTube channel, and I was scraping by. And I should have just nutted up, put it on a credit card, pulled some money out of savings, or done something to go ahead and pay for it. Because if there's one lesson that I seem to have to learn over and over and over and over again, is that when the dentist says that we need to do some small little thing, and then you put off doing that small little thing, it eventually becomes a big, painful thing. I just never seem to quite learn that lesson. But anyway, this is from a guy who has had 4 root canals. So that happened when I was in a period of underemployment for a while, and I didn't have any dental insurance or anything. And then all of a sudden it was like, when I finally got to the dentist and was able to get things done, there were 4 different root canals that had to be done. So anyway, that was back in the fall. She said I needed to do this thing, and I kind of put it off. And then at the beginning of this month, excuse me, burping on camera. At the beginning of this month, I went in and said, all right, let's take care of those things. And it was 3 fillings I had to have done. 2 of them on this side, and 1 in that little crooked tooth right there. This is my least favorite tooth in my mouth. Always has been, it especially is now. But she did a filling there, and ever since then, it was like March 3rd when I had that done, my tooth has been sensitive to cold. So I've been drinking through straws. Every cup in my house has a straw sticking out of it now. And I have to drink like this. I have to drink out of the side of my mouth, like that. That's how I have to drink things. And I've been doing that for about a month now. It's even so sensitive that as I would go out and run, and just the air as I'm breathing in and out of my mouth passing over that tooth would cause it to ache and hurt. So that was already going on. And then at the end of last week, I went out to have some lunch with a buddy. And on the way home, I started noticing over here. Now, all the fillings were done over here. This is just totally random thing over here. This tooth started, it almost felt like when you stick your tongue on a 9-volt battery, but not quite so bad. It was just like this little shock, this little zit, zit, as I was driving home. And I was like, well, that's weird. And over the next few days, I noticed if I ate anything with sugar, it would start to ache. It didn't hurt like while I was eating, but afterwards it would hurt really bad for about an hour or something like that. And it kind of kept getting worse, and it kept getting worse. And finally one night it was so bad that I had to take some painkillers for it. I still had some leftover codeine from when I had a kidney stone issue a while back. So I took one of those, and I was like, all right, I'm going into the dentist the next day. So I made an appointment. Went in, and I told her about this tooth still being sensitive, the cold sensitive thing. She was like, yeah, it might just take a little time for that. We'll keep an eye on it. But she went ahead and took care of this one over here, and it actually took a while because I wasn't sure exactly which tooth it was. It was just this generalized aching over in this area somewhere. But she figured it out. She was, testing x-rays, and she tested temperature and pressure sensitivity and all that kind of stuff. Finally figured out there was an old filling that she said it probably needs to be replaced at some point anyway. It was like an old silver filling, and they don't even do that anymore. So she was like, that's probably something that needs to be replaced anyway, and that might be the problem. So why don't we go ahead and just do that? And hopefully that'll fix the problem, and this will prevent you from having to do that again in the future anyway. So she did that, and it seems to have worked. that was yesterday. So I had another filling done. That would be my fourth in the same month on this tooth over here. And it seems to have fixed the problem. I have not had a problem with this tooth ever since then. But that night, I got home and around 6, 7-ish or something like that, this tooth up front that's been sensitive to cold all this time suddenly started aching like really bad. And so sensitive that like if I just pushed against it with my tongue, it just hurt. It caused me to flinch, it hurt so bad. And it kept getting worse and it kept getting worse. And I took another codeine and I didn't sleep like at all last night. I got maybe 2 hours of sleep the entire night because it was just throbbing and throbbing and just, it made me think of that scene in Castaway when Tom Hanks has that toothache, that rotten tooth or whatever, and he eventually just breaks down and grabs an ice skate and a rock and just knocks it out, and it hurts so bad he passes out. I was about at that point. I was really close to grabbing a pair of pliers or something. It just hurt so bad. And so immediately first thing this morning I called. I'm like, hey, this thing happened now. And I have to point out, she did x-rays of this tooth yesterday, saw no problem with it, and said, yeah, I don't see anything really wrong with it, so let's not mess with it. And it wasn't really hurting that bad yesterday. I was just letting her know that it was temperature sensitive. And here I am back in her office today, and now this thing that she didn't even touch yesterday is just killing me. I have no idea how to explain this. And bless her heart, she ran all these x-rays, and she was doing all these tests, and she was looking at it, and she was like calling up mentors of hers that, you know, were guiding her and stuff. And basically what it came down to, what we seem to have decided together is the problem is that this tooth has been sensitive because the nerve is still kind of healing from the last filling, and it's very sensitive. So when we went in and did all this work over here on this tooth, which was just one, two, three, like 3 teeth over, and it, you know, numbed it, drilled it, did the whole thing, that sort of trauma in that area of my mouth caused my mouth to get really inflamed. It caused some swelling because I can feel the swelling in my lip right here. Even it's still swollen here, and I can push, like it's sensitive if I push right here, just below my nose, because that's above where the tooth is. So it's like it's inflamed at the root, basically, is what I'm saying. So what we decided is that basically I'm just experiencing a lot of inflammation from that last thing, and because that root and that nerve are already sensitive and inflamed, it's just gotten worse. And so she said before I do a root canal on it, which at that point, by the way, I when you're hurting that much, I'm like, rip the friggin' thing out and put an implant in at this point. I don't care. I'm sick of being in this much pain. But what we've decided is to wait until Monday, give it the weekend, see if it gets better, just basically consume my own weight in ibuprofen and try to keep the inflammation down and see if it gets better. And it is slowly getting better, but man, it sucks. I mean, I'm now able to run my tongue over it without crying. And it's really difficult for me because I have a famously bad oral fixation. Like I have pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds I just carry around with me everywhere I go, and I just snack on them. Like I don't know how to think if I don't have something in my mouth that I'm chewing on. Make all the jokes you want. I also really badly chew my cuticles and my fingernails whenever I'm just, it's not even a nervous thing, it's just something I do. And I can't do that now. Like I barely even bite down a little bit, and it kills. So I'm basically going to be on a smoothie diet for the next few days, some kind of liquid diet or soup diet, because I can't bite into anything. I can't bite into a sandwich or meat of any kind. So not happy. I'm feeling a little better now than I was earlier. I was slamming things around and just pounding my fist on the table trying to deal with this. You do this thing where you're in pain, so you like cause pain somewhere else in your body to take your mind off of it. Anyway, I already apologized ahead of time to my wife for the awful attitude I'm going to be in for the next few days. Not looking forward to this weekend. Hopefully consuming all this ibuprofen, and I'm going to be drinking some turmeric and ginger tea to help keep the inflammation down too. Hopefully that'll help enough to keep me from being in too much pain. But anyway, I got to record Monday's video, and I got to record my Thursday video. It's already kind of late for that one. So I might be a little slurry. I might be a little out of sorts. So we'll see if I can pull it off. This is when the rubber meets the road and the professional gets to work. I don't know why I did that in a hick voice. Anyway, that's what's going on with me. Not fun, but I thought I would share because that's what this channel is for. So there you go. Too much information. Hope you guys are doing well. Later.